It's a recession. It's not a pandemic. What's up, fam? It's your boy Demuir here, purveyor of all sounds underground. Thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel today, where I'll be discussing the topic of the fact that we are in a recession, if it hasn't been called already. But before I get into all of that, what I need from you is to hit subscribe, like, or comment on these videos if you like or disagree with whatever it is you're hearing from me. So why don't we just jump into things? We are absolutely in a recession. If you look back at the lessons of history, it would tell you that we're definitely in a recession, which leads me to my first point, which is to acknowledge that there is one. And as a result of doing so, you can start to frame your mind in terms of what are some of the things that you can be doing, other opportunities you can be looking at to maximize. But the point is, when you acknowledge that there's a recession, it level sets for you real facts that, things are going to slow down economically. And what does that mean? That might translate into less gigs, less sales happening with respects to music and streaming for that matter. Some people might give up some of those, what we call conveniences today at the cost of the artist. But anyway, that's a whole other matter. But the whole point here is that the economy is going to slow down. So by acknowledging things, it gives you stock and time to think about what that means to you as it pertains to your drive and reflection towards being a DJ and producer professionally or at a greater level other than it just being a hobby. And point number 2 is to assess your strengths and weaknesses. And this allows you to really go over where you believe you're strong in terms of the things you bring to the table in this game and where you can improve. It's really, in essence, a time to just hunker down and focus on those things, as you will be in a position later on to capitalize on them. Recessions typically last anywhere from 2 to 3 years. Some people are saying, it's going to be doom and gloom and substantially longer. But if you look to history, that's the average. So what is it that you can be doing over the course of these next 2 to 3 years with the expectation and knowing we're living in a recession for you to take advantage upon your strengths and improve on areas where there's opportunity for you that you can later on capitalize once we're coming out of it. All right, and point number 3 is to explore and finally take action on areas where you can make a difference. So I'll use myself as an example. It's a recession. It's not a pandemic. And when the pandemic was happening, there was nothing going on. Full-blown lockdowns, as you know, clubs were shutting down, businesses were shutting down. And as a result, it really put creators like ourselves in a very weird place. But a recession is not that. So it's a little bit better, it's slower, but it's not a complete lockdown. And what I thought about when we were going through a pandemic is, hey, if we look at history, people who worked throughout these things regardless and did it to the best of their ability based on what they had and took real concrete action profited at the end of it. At the end of the pandemic, although it's still formally going on, but I can comfortably say I walked out of that with 5 additional income streams that continue to benefit me today and will be there as long as I continue to nurture them. So by exploring and taking action, looking at different areas in the industry where you can monetize effectively is really key in these moments. It's almost like a doubling down in a sense. So if there's courses you need to take and you've been putting it off and haven't done so because you've been too busy focusing on just making beats, go out and get those courses and learn something and then apply it to what you're doing. The thing you got to look at here is the expectation that this is going to be around for about 2 to 3 years, and it's going to be a slow improvement towards getting out. So as long as you take immediate action, you'll be the first to benefit at the end of it. And point number 4 is just to completely, absolutely maximize on all of the things that you are doing well. So people want to see more mixes from you. Keep doing that. You effectively would have more time to do that as other things slow down. If there are collabs that people like from you or they like the way you remix in other genres, then go about pushing those forward and really maximizing those and putting yourself out there, so to speak. A lot of people don't like the social media game, but it is what it is. It's here to stay. It's not going away. And this is a real opportunity to just maximize on all of this to sort of offset the slowdowns you might see in your gigs or in other areas of the industry that have a direct impact to you. And point number 5 is to constantly measure the results you're getting against your goals and not worrying about anything else. That is the number one thing that will keep you focused and on track to getting things done, and also knowing when you probably need to go back and reconfig things and then put it back on the table again and see what sort of results you're getting. Do not go down the awful depressive rabbit hole of, hey, things aren't popping off like they used to be, because it's obvious. And that's why I started with the first point of acknowledging the environment we're in. If it's a recession, you're going to expect slowdowns, and as a result, everything you do will be to offset those things. So it's just better to focus on what are the results giving you against where you want to go. And there you have it. Those are my thoughts on things you can or should be doing or looking out for while we're in a recession. It's a real thing. I think we've already been in a recession for, I'm going to call it about 3 months now. It's just so obvious in terms of what we're seeing with the inflation numbers, interest rates getting bumped up, trying to offset that, and it's not really having substantial impact that most of the governments would like to see. So that being said, this is real stuff, and it's something you should definitely incorporate in terms of your goals and your focus in the next weeks, actually years to come, if we're looking at about a 2 to 3 year recession. Let me know your thoughts on this. I would love to hear what you think. Usually join a conversation within 48 hours of posting these videos, and it doesn't have to stop here. Please join us on our growing Discord community. It's absolutely free and at no cost to you to connect with other like-minded individuals. I've seen a lot of robust conversations, and I've learned a few things from other people just being on the server itself. So check us out. The link is in the description below. So much love and respect to you. Peace.